Hey folks, Coach Patrick here from Endurance Nation with a quick coach video. We get questions all the time on Twitter, Facebook, email, you name it, it comes in. And every once in a while, I get inspired, do a little video. And today's video is the question we get actually quite often in race season, which is, hey, I did my Ironman and I finished and I don't feel so bad. So did I not go hard enough in my Ironman? And there's a couple things that you need to sort of understand. Number one, your Ironman was hard and you did everything you could do on the day to have an Ironman. So your time is your time and you did a great job and you should embrace that. You earned your time. The time is your time, right? In terms of how do you feel after the race, if you've ever done an open marathon, for example, you've probably felt a lot worse than you feel at the end of an Ironman. The difference is we simply don't run or exercise as hard at all in an Ironman as we do in any other race. In many cases, the real damage you sustain to your body, or 85, 90% of people, the damage they sustain to their body in an Ironman is not related to exertion. It's there's an injury they have, or an overuse injury that's aggravated by poor form or fatigue. They've got some terrible chafing going on. Maybe there's a cramp or something associated with it. There's always the odd bike crash or so on. But rarely do people finish an Ironman and are incapacitated because of the exertion level they've put out. And that's simply because so few people who race an Ironman are really racing that run. And not just racing the run, but racing the last 6 miles of that run, which is where all that hard impact on your muscles and all that breakdown, where that really happens. For the most part, people run into fatigue or nutritional issues or hydration issues, whatever it is, that sort of undermine their ability to go that hard. So when you look at the pros and say, wow, they're going so fast, one of the reasons why they're going so fast is because they're working pretty dang hard. And they're really working hard on that second loop of the marathon, assuming they're still racing. And same with the elite age groupers, people who are in the pointy end of their age groups. Those folks are working really hard. And there is the damage. If you go out, you take a 10-hour guy who goes out and does an 11-hour day at an Ironman, and involved a bunch of walking on the marathon and stopping, pit stops, bad stomach, had to go to the bathroom a lot, whatever it is. That athlete's not going to feel as bad as the 10-hour guy who went 9:50 because he ran the marathon of his life, including an awesome last 6 miles. Those two athletes will feel very differently about their experience, okay? Number two, a different way to think about fatigue is how hard you worked on race day in sort of comparison to what you've done in training. So in many ways, Ironman racing is just a big training day. You're going to go out and do all the same intensities and effort levels that you've done in your training. There's nothing new, whereas Usain Bolt, when he goes out and runs the 100 meters, he's running it faster than any humans run it before. That dude's going to hurt tomorrow, okay? You are going to go do the same thing you've always done. Hopefully, you hope that you have the exact same kind of day on race day that you had in training, with no hiccups, no problems, nice pacing, no distractions, all of that. So in that event as well, there's just not a lot of excess or new fatigue for you that you haven't experienced before. The new fatigue comes at the end of that run, and while many of us have not run a full marathon in training, none of us ever would. We've done a lot of work, we've built a lot of fitness en route, and ultimately very few people actually run the entire 26.2 miles. Many age groupers, myself included, walk the aid stations to get food, and that's en route to a 9:27 at Ironman, Texas. I walked every single aid station for at least 30 to 45 seconds to get my food in. Those walking breaks add up and give me the opportunity to run between aid stations. So when you finish your Ironman and say, wow, I had a great day, but I don't really feel that bad, odds are you aren't feeling that bad because you're fit and you executed well, right? And you quite possibly didn't run at your full high-end potential. Does that mean you can be faster next time? Well, you should know that anytime you finish an Ironman, yes, you'll be faster the next time, assuming all things are equal, because you've learned so much from what you just did. Hopefully you've taken the time to write it all down and capture it so that you can go back next year and say, this is what I want to do differently based on what I've learned, and here's my training, and this is how I want to do my training similarly to get similar fitness, but maybe tweak it a bit to be a little stronger. Whatever those things are, that's an important part of the post-race process. But don't second guess what you've done unless, of course, you had a terrible day and you need to go back and fix it. For the most part, that fatigue that people feel, that deep, residual, painful fatigue that people feel is a function of their run. If you've not run at that level, then you won't feel that fatigue. All right? Thanks so much for your questions, folks. This is Coach Patrick signing off. I'll see you guys online.